aren't you?
Well, what I'm going to go ahead and do is if we can all just stand and rise and we can pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Today. And the theme is going to be about the greatest achievers. And you think about that for a moment. The greatest achievers that you've ever met are going to be the greatest achievers, more importantly, the learners that you'll ever find. You see, our present situation is a reflection on how well we have used the knowledge that God has given us. Nonetheless, if we are to achieve more, we need to learn more. And I was thinking about that this morning and reviewing over our Toastmaster manual. How many of you actually take the time and keep current on these manuals? Okay, great. In here, there was one particular subject that caught my interest about a coach presenter and how she's gone through her period of time and how she's out there now communicating and making all of us better, or her audience better speakers. And we think about what Toastmasters is all about. And we want to think about that is that we're here as well to be able to present, but we're also here to learn. And one of sometimes our biggest challenges is being evaluated and be given bad feedback. And one subject in here, and I thought we could talk about this with some club business. I know our secretary, Barb, isn't here. But one thing that they talked about is after a presentation or after a meeting, that secretary goes back and within the next day or so and gives immediate feedback. So what happens on it is that it encourages us, especially the people who have taken the time to prepare for a speech. And with that being said, yes, Sharon, if you want to.
Is somebody taking meeting notes today?
I can.
Thank you.
Okay.
And with that being said, Anita Kowalski is going to step up because that's opened up an opportunity for a speaker. And I know that I've always, encouraged everyone to have a speech in their back pocket, and just some things got on behind with my schedule as well. And I'm looking to give the leadership presentation on June 17th. When I looked at the agenda and I saw that we had very few members attending, I really didn't feel that the leadership module was going to be best representative for our club. So therefore, I'm going to table it to when we have better representation. Okay, now I have the opportunity to introduce Anita Kowalski, who is our president. She is going to be giving a 3-minute presentation on membership drive. Now, this is all important to us because, as we can see right here, we're being challenged right now with members. So let us welcome Anita Kowalski. Anita Kowalski, membership drive.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, good morning, and thank you for coming to our meeting. With that, I would like to start with membership drives. I looked all over the internet. Everybody does them. The Georgia Authority, which is a nonprofit for saving their wetlands. Various colleges and their alumni do. So with that, the 3 things that came about were connection, join, and flourishing. And I thought that is what Toastmasters really does bring, and maybe we don't realize it. So with connection, I suggest that perhaps we send out a We Miss You card mailed to our past members, people who have visited. Or emailing a newsletter, what's going on with us recently, what has happened. With Toastmasters and helping, speaking engagements, or if people got jobs because of Toastmasters, we should publicize that. We should send that out to everyone who's ever inquired about Toastmasters. This is what it can do for you. That's our wins. That's our testimonials. So with that, I want to start out with John Salalia, the quote from him. The first training leadership institute we went to, he says, do well, do good, do better. And I went, well, okay. And it's do it to the best of your ability that you can. If you're sick and under the weather, do the best you can that day. But if you're not and you're up and peppy, do the best you can that day. Do well, do better, do good. What I really wanted to bring out to people and what we can say to people is you lead by example, whether you want to or not. You're going to be leading in the workplace, in your home. Your children will follow your example. Your neighbors will follow you. Your bosses will be looking to you as to what example you set for the other people working around you. So flourishing, I wanted to put down mentors. And what we are as mentors, we can help the new people and people who are not familiar with the manuals to get familiar. This is what you need to look for. This is what I've done wrong. This is what I've done great. Let them listen to it on the speech the night before. If that mentor gives you one piece of advice to make your speech that much greater for when you're giving it the next day, you're that much better. Mentors are here to help you and support you. So with that, I want to say this is my club. Why I joined is because I was rambling in job interviews, and it's hard for me to admit that, but I rambled on and on and on, never got to the point. And I had to ask them what was the question. At least 2 interviews, and I know I lost the jobs because of that. So I said, that's it, I need Toastmasters so badly. So with that, it has helped me, and yes, I've gotten through interviews and I've gotten jobs. So it has reduced the pain and discomfort of being unemployed. That's what Toastmasters does. It reduces the pain of speaking to anybody to present anything. So who is eligible for the membership? Anyone over 18? What are the benefits? Learning how to speak confidently, off the cuff, and just going for your goals. And what does our group stand for? It is empowering your voice. I empower my voice by standing up here. You empower your voice by coming up and standing. So I ask, would you like to start this journey? And that's what I'd like you to ask each person. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. You hit on many wonderful subjects. And that goes back to mentoring. It's important that we all take the time to mentor or find a mentor. I had a great conversation with a mentor of mine, and that was one of the first questions that they asked me, are you still in Toastmasters? And I said, yes, I am. With that being said, I would like to immediately turn it over to, if Anita Koch is ready to give her evaluation. Otherwise, what we could do is roll right into table topics.
No.
Okay, so let's welcome Anita Koch as our evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, Toastmasters, and welcome guest, and of course Anita, my counterpart, Anita. First of all, Anita, I want to say great job. Thank you so much for stepping up. Thank you for introducing us to a new advanced manual of working with video. And now that we have our camera here, I think it's very appropriate that we do that. The first question in the evaluation guide was what news event or current issue was the editorial based upon? And I found that you used more generalized. You mentioned a Atlanta club or company, but a little more generalized use of various clubs and organizations and how we can follow what they have done to use their ideas to help us empower ourselves in our club, which I thought was very good. The logic and reasoning that you used in your presentation was very clear. The words that you used made it interesting. I liked connection is a very important aspect of communicating, because if you're not connecting with people, then how valuable, how understandable is your communication if they're on a different page, so to speak, than what you are. And flourishing, what a lovely word. Flourishing, if you look around outside, the vegetation is flourishing, and it's a great word to describe what we want to achieve in our club with Toastmasters. Your quote from that gentleman was also very good. The one area that I think, because this is a manual on using the camera, communicating to video, I noticed you communicated visually very well with the individuals in the audience. You need to look at that camera as if it's an audience member and speak directly to it. I watch a television ministry on a regular basis, and I noticed that the minister on this ministry, when he is, yes, he looks at the congregation, but when he's making a point, he's looking right at that camera as if that camera is an individual sitting there. So I think the next time you do a speech from this manual, that's something that you're going to want to focus on a little bit more. Your appearance was very positive, very professional, very well done for this speech. All in all, I think that you did an excellent job. I don't believe that you had quite as much preparation time as you would have liked, and I think with a little more preparation time, you would have done even better. Overall, great job, Anita. Appreciate it very much, and continue to look forward to you giving additional speeches, especially in this manual. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Okay, great. Moving right along on our agenda, I'm going to introduce our table topics master. And Jack Wall, if you can come up to the podium, and it's going to give us an opportunity for all of us to participate. So who would like to be our first contestant to participate in table topics?
Feels good to be back.
Yay!
Table topics is pretty important because every once in a while you're caught out and get a little thing, or you can also talk about something with someone for a little while. Talked about being an achiever, and this gives you an opportunity to achieve. It gives you a chance to express yourself with a topic you don't know about, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So this is my first volunteer. This is my second volunteer.
Oh, then me.
All right, Anita.
Yay. That was good. Next one. Oh, thank you. Wow. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, honored guests. Through the use of a time machine, you're traveling back to the year 1850. You may take with you one and only one product or invention from the modern era. What would you take with you to impress and awe our forebears? 1850. I don't think trains were back then. I think it was still the horse-drawn carriage era. So I would probably take a train. I like them. I like the steam trains. I think they're still the romantic, and I know I watched that movie Midnight in Paris, which is really about how everyone views the golden age, the past, as being greater than the present right now. And in it, he travels to the past, and while he's there, he meets somebody from the 1920s. Well, while they're hanging out at the speakeasies, they go back in time to what she thought was the golden age, which is back with the can-can dancers and the man who did the posters of the can-can dancers, and she said, this is the greatest age. And he's like, no, your age was the greatest age. So they're fighting back and forth about the golden ages. And he's like, but the present is the present all the time. So I think it just brings me back that I don't like horse-drawn carriages or cleaning up after horses, so I would like a train. Thank you.
Okay, go all run up here at one time.
instantly memorized, cover to cover, which book would you choose?
Probably the Bible, because there's so many references to it. And think of all the game shows I could win. There's always asking, what about this, what about that? And in fact, I try to keep a kid's version of the Bible in my nightstand for, I'm one of those that wakes up at 3 in the morning and ignore the fact that my husband's trying to sleep and I switch on the light. Well, I lay there first and I really try to be patient and go back to sleep, and then my mind just, and so I turn on the light and I either do fill-ins, crossword puzzles, or have some reading material there. And the stories in the Bible they're actually exciting. So it would have many uses and might even bring me up a little morally, who knows?
Hello.
That's good.
You love these, don't you?
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. My question is, if you could have 50 pounds of anything except money, what would you want? Well, the first thought that entered my mind, well, it wouldn't be fat. I'm trying to lose some more of that. So, 50 pounds of anything, not money. Can wisdom be weighed? I would love 50 pounds of more wisdom. And it's very interesting because I found that as I've aged, I believe that I have more wisdom. And wouldn't it be wonderful if as a 20-something or 30-something, you could just buy 50 pounds of wisdom? Because it's our experiences that help us with wisdom. It's our experiences, not necessarily always the good experiences, but sometimes the challenging experiences from which we gain our greatest wisdom. So if I could buy 50 pounds of something, I believe that I would buy 50 pounds of wisdom, and then I would share it with those who are younger than me so that they could learn earlier in their life about the wonderful things that wisdom can bring. Thank you.
Next one.
Yay!
It's your last page, you have to.
If you had to spend an entire summer working at one of our country's national parks or historic sites, which one would you choose? I am from Pennsylvania, and Gettysburg has always interested me. Mostly because when I stand in the battlefield, just imagining the enormity of what was going on there. And all the lives were lost when we were fighting our own countrymen. And it awes me. I went there a few months ago. We had a CD that we put in there, and we went around to each site, and they were talking about it. It was just so awesome, just thinking. And they're still finding artifacts, bullets, and thinking of the Gettysburg Address. During that time, there were 300 horses that also died during the Gettysburg battle. And just dedicating the cemetery, just picturing where Lincoln stood and talked for just a few minutes. It gave a more awesome speech than the other speaker, who went on and on and on and on, and I don't have to do that because my time's almost up. I would like to be at Gettysburg to work there. Thank you. I'd also like 50 pounds of chocolate, that's it.
If you want to participate,
Huh?
if you want to participate, then, and then I'll come up and then you can time me if
Okay.
this way, then everybody's participating. That's, that's.
My question is, if you could add 1 month to a calendar year, inserted in between 2 existing months, where would you put the extra 30 days? You could assume that the weather for the new month will mix of the weather typical of the month preceding the following. I guess I put it in the summertime. And I think the reason I would do that is because I'd want to spend more time with my family. So I would take a whole month's vacation. You know, and I need that month because I got one in New York, my other children in Houston, and the other one's in North Carolina. I probably would start off with Houston first. Try to get there and enjoy that. And I got four grandchildren there. Well, 3 there. Well, 2 now. Because one happens to be, I forgot about San Francisco. I might have to pop over to San Francisco first. Because he's working on, he's over there. So I would start off with San Francisco. San Francisco's always a lot of fun, it's a good time there. And the main thing is that I'd be with my grandson, and we talk quite a bit. He calls me G-Dog, they all do. And we have a great time. Then I would go over to Houston to be with my daughter, my other 2 grandchildren. And I'll explain the 4th one in a minute, and I would have a great time there. Then I'd go to North Carolina, be on the beach with my son Doug. And I would enjoy that. And then maybe the only thing would probably interrupt, I probably had that iPhone with me, and every once in a while there would be a message from Anita Markers. And then finally I would go to New York, because not only that my son's there, but my other grandchild, who actually is from Houston, and is not just a niece to my son there, would be there, so I had that, and then I head home, because I wouldn't want to miss the next Toastmaster meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, right?
There are no easy ones.
Suppose for a moment that you are truly colorblind and that all you can see is black and white. Then one day you wake up to find now you can see one color. What color would it be? Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. Well, the color that it would be yellow. Now, I was described, for all of you who may or may not be aware, the colors define personalities. And I did this subject back when I reported to corporate at the time. And yellow happens to, I don't know everything behind it, but I love yellow. Yellow relates to smiley faces, the sun, positive reinforcement. And to go from just being able to see black and white, the visual sign of yellow just signifies excitement, happiness. It's also, it could be also as a subtle color. But how impactful would we all be if we could wake up and to see the sun, even though the sun really isn't always yellow, it's more defined as an orange, green, red. But we look at this wall over here, and if that wall just happened to be yellow, how much more enthusiastic would we all be? Or were we go to work? Or even if there was just one wall, a pathway, walking, it could impact the world with the positive effect of what yellow could be. So I thank you for the opportunity. I think these were really good. We have to remember that, to use these table topics, because it really makes us think outside of the box. And I thank all of you for participating. Moving right along, I neglected to mention our grammarian counter. So Anita Kowalski, have you been?
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So we can strip that right out, and
Yep.
what I'm going to probably do is just turn it right over to our general evaluator, Anita Koch, and she can give us an overall evaluation of our meeting.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, everyone. Glad you could all be here. Wish we had more here. We did start on time. We did get opened well, however, we didn't, I think probably because we're so light in numbers today, we didn't introduce the GE. We didn't, therefore the GE did not, general evaluator, did not introduce the timer, the grammarian, the odd counter, and so forth. Consequently, we kind of missed the boat. So that's okay. It's all good. Also, I think, especially with a smaller group, what might have been a good way to start the meeting is to have everybody do a little introduction, icebreaker, opener. We neglected to welcome Shirley, who's done an awesome job as our area governor this last year. We've appreciated you very much, and we will miss you, and you did a great job. Thank you, Anita, for stepping up and doing a speech, and I know you weren't 100% prepared, and you did a great job. You did a great job. To me, that speaks of this club in general, that we are all working together to make a good club and to give everyone the opportunity to grow. And therefore, we step into roles as needed at the drop of a hat and do a great job. Sherry stepped in as Toastmaster at the last minute. She wasn't even planning on being here. Just walked right in and got people to take roles and do a speech and be an evaluator and do the things that we needed to get done very effectively. Thank you so much for that, Sherry. I think the evaluator was awesome.
Yes, she was.
Did we have fun? Did we have fun?
Yes.
All right, well, that's the important part. We had fun, we learned, we grew, we're becoming a better club. We just need to let more people, and I'm hoping in my new role as PR that I can follow in Sharon's footsteps, because I know she started some very great things, and continue on that role so that we can increase our membership and just let everybody know what a great organization this is. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're in our Connors report?
And the timers, I think that everyone was within time on the timers report. So I don't know if we want to vote for best, we don't have, yeah, that's kind of, and what I thought this would do would be a great opportunity then to have Shirley come up to the lectern and maybe just give us an overall view, some pointers that you feel that would benefit our club. And then Sharon, I'm going to open that up to you as well. If you're in a position to, you know, what your expectations are of a club. I know a lot of our key roles are not here, if that's something you want on the table. But again, I know the timing of the meeting and such, so I'll leave it both up to you if you'd like to come up. So let's welcome our...
Well, actually, Anita Cope gave my speech, so I don't have to. Thank you. I do want to say that this club is the most enthusiastic club, and this is no lie, wouldn't tell you otherwise, of the 4 that I have. You are the hardest working, you are the easiest to work with. You have really strived, and you've made so many points this year. And I'm sorry that you didn't make your membership because you've earned that distinguished. You are a distinguished club in my eyes. You have well organized, you're just a dynamic club. You just need that membership.
Is there any consideration from international where if, let's say 60% of the clubs are all struggling in membership, that they are looking to maybe lower that from 20 down to a more reasonable amount, or is that just the expectation?
20 is the watermark, and they're not going to change that, unfortunately. The problem that runs in with the clubs is if you lose members during the year, that adds on to the number of members you have to get. If you started with 15, you didn't lose anyone, then you only need 5, for example. If you lose, my home club's the same thing. We lost some members, or members didn't renew, and that impacted our, So unfortunately, but it's been a great year. Something for the future that Sharon's not aware of yet. They are working on a revitalized educational program, which is emphasizing more emphasis on leadership. There's a learning masters team that's being put together worldwide. I applied for that, but I applied on the last day, so I couldn't get anyone to recommend me, so I don't know if I'll get on it or not. But they are going to be looking into the revitalization. I don't know what that means, except that they're changing the educational program. They're not changing the manuals, per se. They're changing how they present the educational program and emphasizing more on leadership, which we have not done in years. And there's also going to be an ambassadors program available. If any of you are interested in that, working along with the Learning Masters team, you'll be in charge of 10 clubs. And that doesn't mean in charge of them that you have to go visit them all the time, but to implement the revitalized educational program within every district. You'll be connected up with 10 clubs, which I've also put in for at the level, so you may see me back again as an ambassador. But it is also my pleasure this morning to introduce your new, starting next month, Area 21 Governor, Sharon Malone.
I told her, you have no idea how much you're going to miss her next year. Be dealing with me. And I wouldn't even think of taking the job, except I've got such a support team in this club, and I've already got you signed up. One's head of judges, one's making the speech, one's doing the...
Good job.
Yeah, and I hope a lot of participation from the other clubs. Now, I know Lisa's very active, and I'm counting on her a lot, too. And Joe's off to a good start. Joe will be our district governor. And this was cute, because I was little unsure. I guess I'm more sure of working with women, pretty much always have, not so much men. And so to have to go to meetings with Joe, who I've never met yet. Well, I've seen him at other meetings, but no. And I'm a 50s girl. We didn't mix. You know, when I went to grade school, the girls sat on one side and the boys on the other. And real punishment was if you had to go sit with the boys, or a boy had to come and sit with a girl. So I'm still a little, but Joe told me he lived in Romeo. I said, well, the High Steppers are doing a show, come and see us. And he wrote back, he said, I'm sorry, I have a meeting that day. And I said, well, you didn't miss anything because our show got canceled. The sound, they blew up the sound system, so we couldn't do our show. And he said, oh, I heard about that from my mother-in-law and my wife. And still didn't think anything about it. Later on, I get an email from him, and he said, my mother-in-law is one of your dancers.
Aw.
Well, it was like instant connection. I'm so
Wow.
cool now to go on with this, and so looking forward to the meetings and the education. They've already had one meeting, which I had missed, but I'm planning on the next one. It's all day. They're doing a lot of educational. Now, my beef, if you want to call it that, suggestion, let's put it positively, suggestion to Toastmasters International is that they provide some advertising overall. Because you have to start, oh, what is Toastmasters? What do you do? I shouldn't have to start there. I should have to say, you are lucky, we have a Toastmasters right in your area. So every chance I get, I will plug that.
Good.
Other than that, this club is so good to go. Like I say, I've already gotten signed up. So.
Can I ask just some general questions? And
No,
I
not yet.
and
I'm
I
not
don't know
there
if you
yet.
want to take this, Anita,
She's
because
not
this
ready
maybe
yet.
should
No.
be taped, you know.
Right on.
Different endeavors, and I know that we're going to be well represented from our club, and how exciting to be able to have yourself and Anita Koch as representatives, and Shirley, you've been there as a great role model for Sharon, just to slide right on in, and I look forward to partnering up with you, Sharon, and growing our membership with that. Is there any other business, Anita, from the floor that did you want to bring up and talk
Yes.
about?
Yes,
So I'll turn the lectern over
Do
to
we
you.
have a meeting?
yes, please.
And then you can conclude the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being Toastmaster.
Thank you for
I wasn't
speaking.
sure if it was
Stay
over.
there. Yeah, too. Just totally got it.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm opening club business for Competent Communicators. We've been waffling, is a good word, about mentors. Talking during our conference call board meeting, somebody brought up some people are hesitant to get a mentor. And it's kind of funny because somebody else said, well, mentoring helps with manuals, and I never thought about that. You know, because you get the manuals and you're like, okay, but you really don't understand what they mean, what to do with them, how to use them, etc. Especially with that track and that whole piece of paper and the X's and the circles. It's like, okay. So I plan on taking over the mentor program, I guess, spreadsheet, when Carol gives it to me. But we all have at least one mentor, if not two or three. Anita, you have mentored me. Sherry has mentored me also. I give feedback to both. I've gotten feedback from Barb. I've gotten feedback from Shirley. That's 4 mentors right there. You know, Sharon, you've helped me in being president. That's me. You're my mentor also. Shirley, also you. I've leaned on you guys a lot. So with that, I would like to give you each a gift, because I've taken up so much of your time. I remember the frantic emails. Da, 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 da. So with that, these are tokens. Well, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Sherry, because I always go to you as the first, because Sherry has the history of the club, and this has happened before. I remember coming to a meeting with just 3 people, you know, early on, and I went, okay, and of course we just ran through the meeting. So I go to you first, so thank you. All right, so we have also on the timer's report changed the general evaluator speech to 3 to 5 minutes. I printed out the timer sheet and it's somewhere really safe. Really, really safe. Yes. So with that, we have the new board members' manuals that came in the mail. Is there any other club business?
Yes, I do want to bring up, and maybe this is something we can talk about on our membership dues for the chamber.
Okay.
Will be due June 15th.
All right.
It's $85, so we want to put that on the agenda for our board meeting.
Okay, yes.
Do we have a conference call?
We do, I thought we were going to keep it at the same, but if we need to do a vote, then we're going to have it the Wednesday between meetings. I can't think of what that is, June 12th. So if we need to vote on spending money, if we don't already have it,
Was it 8:30? I thought John mentioned that was going to need to change that too.
yes. No, go earlier because he needed to get off the phone at 8:30.
Oh, earlier than 8.
Yeah, it's to start
Earlier
work.
than 8.
It's to start work. So if we could, is everyone available for the board meeting on Wednesday? I think it's June 12th. You're welcome.
I'll double check just to make sure.
7:30.
Where?
It'll be conference call.
Oh, it's oh yeah.
You're gonna love it. Conference call.
Please.
So, yes. So yes, I wanted to express my thanks to each of you for stepping up.
Hey, thank you for leading us for a year, my God.
Thank you.
I know it's not easy, not always easy.
I appreciated your emails and your phone calls, because that shows that you were really interested and really involved. And that's what we need in our meetings.
She kept me in the loop. That's
And
important.
you came to our lovely 3-hour planning meeting. I'm so sorry, but thank you. Thank you for coming, thank you for staying for 3 hours, I appreciate it. I thought it was gonna take longer, so, yeah,
I also offered to join this club if you
yes.
needed one more member for the distinguished club, distinguished program. I said I would join the club, so.
Thank
Our
you.
Ken and,
That's a standing promise.
oh,
My
that'd
goodness,
be
thank
good.
you.
Are Ken and Carol coming back at all? Aren't they usually back by?
Yeah.
I've emailed them. I get emails from prospective members, just so that you guys are aware. I mean, I don't let them go by the wayside. I mean, I send an email, continuously follow up with them. Any phone call that comes into my phone line, I immediately follow up with them. And it seems to be the time or the commitment, because I want to make sure that they understand the time commitment, meaning you have to put time and effort into preparing your presentations and your speeches. Now, one thing, Shirley, I may have not shared with you at our last, open house, that it took one lady 1 year to come to our club, the courage to come to our club. Now, again, everybody's on different levels, but that's some of the feedback that I hear. Public speaking is a fear, and it was a fear, I'm sure, for all of us. And now, look, 5 years, our club has been in existence, and there's been a lot of people that have come and a lot of people that have gone.
Yeah.
And
The trouble is I miss them all,
Exactly, because even in the open house, because I have the database of all, and you guys may have remembered some older names like Matt, Gloria, I emailed Tim, Jen, I can't think of all the other
Jen
people.
particularly.
Yeah, I mean, but I stay in contact with them and continuously just say, hey, just a friendly reminder, our club still meets,
Yeah.
and
The
sometimes.
big thing is what's in it for you. You have to convince people that there's something in it for them or they won't come back. And Toastmasters magazine for a couple months ago, there was an article about different manuals and what's in it for people. I don't know if you remember that article or not, but it's named the manuals and it said, here's what's practical reason for using that. I don't know which month it was. I think it was maybe April, something. But it's really a really good article which you can use because it says here's what's the practical reason for following that manual. That might be something if you could give people what's in it for you. Otherwise, they're not going to come back. I'll look it up and let you know which manual,
Yeah, I have all the
magazine
manuals
it was.
too, and maybe that's
It was just a
something-
couple months ago. Because I'm planning a speech using that as a base. So, if you don't give them a WIFM, which is
Are we,
an acronym they use, you're not going to get people interested.
so out of the 4 clubs, how many are distinguished?
0. 3 out of 4 have enough points, but they don't have the
Who would
membership.
be able to provide, and I probably would call, but do you receive reports out of how many throughout the entire state of Michigan, how many are distinguished? Do they?
You have access, Sharon has
Sharon would have access to
I have
that.
access to the whole claimancy, the whole District 28, and there are a lot of clubs that are not distinguished. And it is all about membership. That was one of my lessons learned that I let Joe Moreau know. I really worked hard with the clubs to get points. But I didn't work as hard with the membership, and that's where everything fell apart.
Right. And that is a general consensus throughout any form of, any other organization that you're involved in. I'm involved in another organization in membership. You know, we're just dwindling down as well. And it comes down to people just don't want to put the personal time and commitment involved in it. And like you said, it has to be, what is it in
What's in it
for
for me?
them? What
What's
is
in
it
it
in there for them? And more and more, and I'm glad to hear that international is concentrating on leadership, because all you have to do is take a look at out there in the world in form of leadership, and it is well needed, even more so with the younger generation that's going to be coming up.
I think you're going to attract more people by focusing on leadership too, because a lot of people want to move into a leadership role within their career. And if they can find an organization like Toastmasters that is relatively inexpensive, that can give them the tools to move into a leadership role, I think it's really going to help a lot. One of the other questions that I had is that years ago when I was in Toastmasters, there used to be in this area a speakers bureau where organizations could tap into that speakers bureau and have advanced speakers come to their organization free of charge and do a talk, which also promoted Toastmasters. I'm not aware of there being a speakers bureau.
That wasn't under the auspices of Toastmasters, though.
Yeah, it was. 'Cause
I was up in New England in District 31. There was a speakers bureau, and some of our Toastmasters were in it, which did really help to spread the word.
Right.
So I don't know who organizes that kind of thing, but it's not a
I thought I
Toastmaster.
had read that too.
Well, I was given a few speaking opportunities through that years when I was in Toastmasters years ago.
Oh.
So
What we have to do also is we need to go to all the organizations, Rotary, Kiwanis,
Right.
all of those and offer up.
We
things
are
now.
though kind of connected, like
Yes.
president and to the chamber.
I know you have done all of those things.
Yeah.
Right. And the bottom line, if it comes down to people, and I'll just make a general statement, we live in a world where people want instant gratification. So they come to these meetings, they see, we enroll them in, they look at the manuals, they get busy with their families, they get busy with their jobs, they get busy with their pleasure life, and they just lose connection because you have to research, you have to write, and then you have to get up and you have to present the speech.
But
And
don't
until
you
they
think- I'm sorry.
understand that in order for them to move up in their career and their professional life, and I always am a living testimonial of what I'm doing, people aren't willing to make the sacrifice. And that's what I say. It's all about. And I use myself as president of Kiwanis, and they're so, I reach out to the members on a weekly basis when I get out. This has helped me as well. And so I reached out to the president-elect that's going to follow me to come into a meeting, to join a Toastmasters club, because it is going to be able to enhance, to overcome, so that when you're trying to, get the members to volunteer their time and effort, and more importantly, the resources to, get behind a community event, you got to be able to, talk persuasively to somebody. Otherwise, then, you're just going to have the same people sitting, coming to the meetings and doing the same thing.
One of the things that I was thinking about pursuing as PR is to do one of those speech crafters events. So it's my understanding that there are a lot of people that, percentage-wise, if they attend the speech crafters, which is a short period of time, relatively small commitment, that they will go from the speech craft event to joining the club. So I was thinking that that might be something that we could do, and I don't know, I haven't done any research on it.
Speechcraft is a very worthwhile proposition. I was involved in Speechcraft at a Rhode Island maximum security prison for men, and it was very rewarding. And you can also do similar things with youth.
Yeah, we attempted to do something through the Romeo schools, but I'm going to do my homework and see what's involved with doing that. And
Toastmasters has a youth leadership program.
right, but I'm looking more at something for adults rather than the youth, because I want people who will say, this helped me so much in this short period of time. How much more could it help me develop my leadership skills, develop my confidence? You talk about what's in it for me, and that's really what we have to emphasize is, do you want to be more confident in your job? Do you want to be more promotable? Do you want to move into do you want to get those raises and promotions? Well, this is a way that can help you to do that. And I think that's why people pay a lot of money to join networking groups and a lot of time to go to these networking groups. And they do that so that they can become better and they can increase their business. So if we can show people how a commitment to Toastmasters is going to help them even more than a BNI or an LBN in developing themselves so that their business increases, because we have more and more entrepreneurs today, because the corporate culture of get a job, work there for 40 years and retire is disappearing. So we have more people that are going into the entrepreneurial arena, and I think that's the people that we really need to appeal to. And we need to appeal to them on the level that this is going to help your business. So
If you do not have what's in it for me, they will not come. Even your present membership, if everyone felt there was something in it for them, they would make the time and they would be here today. So they have not been convinced what's in it for them, except if they're on vacation, that's something. But if they really felt this was something really valuable and this is really going to help me, they would be here.
But again, it goes back to the mindset of that individual, and I challenge people, because we have open dialogue. They don't want to make the sacrifice. They don't want to put the time.
They think of it as a sacrifice. That's the problem.
Right. Well,
They still don't have what's in it.
they want to be able to go to their boss and tell their boss that they want to make more money, but it's not always.
But don't you think the economy is hurting us? I know the one guy that I thought he was so good, I thought he could make a career of going on, TV or something. But he didn't have a job, and so how do you tell your wife, I want $48 to go to this club that maybe will do me some good?
I don't feel that
Even
that's
though
a
it's
hindrance. I feel $48 for 6 months. It's
That's
nominal.
for you, but I think a lot of them just just wouldn't do that and put in effort.
Unless they thought there really was something in it for them.
Well, that's what they
Really would help them,
stressed
That's
me.
the problem.
When we went to that leadership meeting in Dearborn there, and I was in with the presidents, and I was saying, you know, what a bargain that was, for really, it's under $10 a month, and they said, don't stress bargains, stress value.
Right.
But you know what, that same person, and I'm not saying Brian, that person, but I'm saying that same exact, because I do financial coaching, and these people are disciplined. They don't mind spending $3 for a bottle of water, or $6
Five for Starbucks.
for a Starbucks, or eat out every day for lunch and make those sacrifices.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a behavior, it becomes a discipline, it becomes whatever keyword we want to use to embrace them, to put their personal time and commitment involved in it. And that's the thing about it is that I see is that people just, they want the instant, they want to be able to say, okay, I want to speak as well as, you know, Anita Koch. Well, Anita Koch has been speaking for how many years, and she continues to put herself out there. You know what I'm saying? And so when they don't see that benefiting them, then
Okay, not to cut all you off, so very good discussion, but I also want to say, July 3rd, I'm installing you new officers.
I will not be
Please show up. Well, you're getting installed anyway, so in your absence, you'll be installed. So thank you, and of business, and thank you.